In this lesson, I'm going to show you how you can create an attendance app in Power Apps. So you can see I have 4 regions: North, South, East, and West. And what I want to do is I want the user to come in here and select the region that they work in, and then go to another screen that shows the branches that they work in within each region, and be able to check in themselves or their employees that work for them. So let me show you my data source first. I'm going to go to SharePoint. And these are the employees that I have. These are the regions. These are the branches. And I have a status column, which we're going to populate later. Now you can pause the video if you want to mimic exactly what I have in your SharePoint list. So now let me go to Power Apps. I've already connected to that SharePoint list. Let's do a refresh real quick. Okay. So when I click on the North region, I want the screen to say, or the drop down to have the North branches, which would be New York and Maine. If I choose South, I want it to say Georgia and South Carolina. If I choose East, Maryland, Virginia. If I choose West, I want to say California and Arizona. All right. So I need to get to this screen. So let's go back to this screen. So the on select property, I'm going to change this. So we're going to rename this screen 2. We're going to call it log in screen or check-in screen. Check-in screen. This is going to be main screen. All right. So when I click on the button, I want to navigate to the check-in screen. We can do a transition. So let's choose South. And we have the South branches. If I chose East, you'll see the East branches. Now I need to have a button to go back to the main screen. So let's just add that. Back to main. Do another navigate to the main screen with a fade transition. We can change this label so it's more dynamic. So I want it to say select the gallery one dot selected. So it will say select the East branch for Maryland or Virginia. I click North. It'll say select the North branch for New York or Maine. If I choose West, it says select the West branch for California or Arizona. Now let me show you how I created this. All it is a collection with a table that has these 4 regions. So now I'll have the main screen set up. So let's continue to build the second screen. So if they select a branch, I want them to select their name from the branch. So I'm going to this is going to be another if statement. So if, I'm going to call this branch dropdown. So if branch dropdown dot selected text dot value equals New York, then we can do a lookup on the data source, which is called DEF company. On the branch column in the data source equals what was selected here, and we're trying to get the employee's name. So you have Fred Jones shows up because Fred Jones was listed in our data source as being worked in New York. So we can take all of this. Again, we're going to just replace New York with Maine. This would be Maryland. Virginia. We had Georgia, South Carolina, California, and Arizona. All right. I choose Maine. I get Pat Richards. I go back. I choose South. And I get the South branches, Georgia and South Carolina. And when I choose South Carolina, I get Owen Terry in South Carolina and Carol Burns in Georgia. All right. So now we need to check in these people. So I'm going to create another drop down. This is going to be called select the status. And here I'm just going to hard code the statuses. So the status would be on site, on leave, TAD, or special liberty. So there's my statuses. Now I need a way to save this information. So I'm going to create another button. Call it save. And so I'm going to create a update if on that same data source. We're matching the title column to the name in this dropdown. So I'm going to call this employee dropdown. Dot select the text dot value. And I'm going to save the status. Status is in, call this status dropdown. Dot select the text dot value. All right, and then we're gonna create a notify to the user saying that your data has been saved. Also want to, well, we'll just leave that for right now. All right. So let's test it. Go back to the main screen. I'm going to choose East. So we have Maryland and Virginia. I'll choose Virginia. There's nobody in Virginia. So I'll choose Maryland. There's David Lewis. He is on leave. I'm going to press save. It says your data has been saved. Let's go to SharePoint. And see if the data has been saved for David Lewis. You can see David Lewis. His region was East, branch was Maryland, and we annotated that he was on leave.